Hey, on tonight's episode of the Kansas City World Cup show, I'm Chris. Tina has decided that this is not the show for her to be part of, so I brought in an expert. This
Hi.
is my son, Ethan. And if you have questions about international soccer,
Yeah, yeah. I kind of am crazy,
yeah,
taking
little kind of. He's
taking the
kind of crazy.
Dominican Republic to the World Cup in Football Manager this year. So
Yeah, so tell you're gonna have a channel coming up here where you're gonna tell the world about soccer, which is exciting. But we wanted to bring our expert on because, as it stands right now, I think we're up 2-0 over Canada,
yeah, we are,
and
which is really good,
which is really really good
really good.
under the leadership of BJ Callahan. But the word has come out that we have hired Gregg Berhalter as the next coach of the U.S. men's national team, and this is not necessarily a decision that I would have made.
or me.
So we're going to talk through why, and we're going to highlight the things that Berhalter does well, because there are some. We'll talk about the circumstances under which he was hired, and then we're going to forecast what we think is going to happen with the U.S. men's national team. It's not all doom and gloom, I don't think, but yeah, let's talk through it. So, just to give a quick baseline, Gregg Berhalter was hired as the U.S. men's national coach after the disastrous that ended in 2018 with us
Losing
losing to
to
Trinidad and Tobago,
yep.
right? Which was bad. And so in comes Gregg Berhalter, who was a man known for coaching defense,
hmm
not necessarily offense.
Yeah,
And we kind of saw that play out through the last World Cup run. We scored 3 goals in the last
four.
World Cup.
Yeah,
No,
3 goals in the 4 matches we played.
yeah, 3 goals in
Yeah,
4 matches, right? Because and quite frankly, some of those teams, Wales and Iran, were both ripe for scoring multiple goals.
Matt Turner. Yeah, Matt Turner's really good.
Really good,
Yeah.
really good. So, so let's talk about then after the World Cup, there was some talk about not bringing back Gregg Berhalter. It's not, and this is not unusual. Lots of coaches are signed to a 4-year World Cup cycle,
hmm
and then a country will move on to the next person. Not always. I mean, Southgate has been in charge of England for most of my adult life. It feels.
Yeah, for a long
But
time. Yeah.
yeah, so not every situation. But I think there was some controversy about Berhalter when he started, and then it happens. You want to talk about what it was real quick?
So Greg Berhalter, after the World Cup lost to the Netherlands, he goes to some sort of private event where
Leadership
he's yeah
conference. Yep.
leadership conference where he's speaking, and basically says, "Okay, I had a problem with a player. Here's what I did. I did X, Y, and Z. I don't quite remember exactly what he said. Doesn't really matter. People very very quickly figured out it was Giovanni Reina. Giovanni Reina is a young star, plays for Borussia Dortmund, really talented, really good. I think he has the potential to be one of the best in the world, one of the best for the United States, definitely.
He's got injury problems,
He
and
does have
so
injury
at the
problems,
start
so.
of training camp, there were some concerns about his durability.
hmm
So the fact that Berhalter and he didn't necessarily have the same vision for Reina's World Cup run is not unrealistic,
hmm
but perhaps the way it was handled by both sides, because there was a lot of turmoil, right, in the
Yeah,
training camp because of it. Okay,
and
yeah,
I think because I've played soccer for a while, and if I, obviously I've had problems with managers, but usually those problems stick between me and the manager. There's no third party that he goes and talks to, right?
so you think he did Reina wrong by talking about this situation because
hmm
it was too fresh in people's minds?
Yeah,
They mean, okay, all right,
and I mean, like,
yeah,
like if you have a problem with a certain player, that's not for anyone to know, right? Like you
you
need to
protect your
keep. Yeah,
players. Yeah,
exactly. And he broadcasted that out into the world, and I don't think Gio Reyna was upset, but his parents were upset, and yeah,
yes, and that started a kerfluffle.
yeah, that's a word
Uh,
for it.
yeah, which ends with Claudio Reyna, Giovanni's father, being asked to step down, and his role with Austin FC, I believe,
hmm
greatly diminished. And some kind of embarrassment on the Reina family because they accused Berhalter of domestic violence. If I remember, because he did have an arrest for
There wasn't
it.
an arrest. He was never arrested.
It was never arrested.
Hmm.
It was cited. There was some.
There was an incident
There
in
was an incident.
college.
Okay, with the woman who would later become his wife,
Hmm.
and there's some evidence that he really worked on himself
Hmm.
and did did some things to anger management. I don't quite have the details.
So basically, what happened was there was some sort of drunken altercation. Doesn't really matter what about. Uh, Berhalter kicked his girlfriend at the time, because they were in college. I think he was like 21, super young kid. Kicked his then girlfriend, now wife, in the leg. She reported to soccer practice the next day. She was fine, but still the incident happened.
And we
Um,
don't really like any incident
yeah,
of domestic violence, but it
it's not
does.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it may be significant to some that it wasn't a broken bone or something like that.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So it wasn't hard enough to break her bones or anything like that. They took like a 6 month break, something like that, where Gregg Berhalter informed both families. Gregg Berhalter informed his academic counselor and his coach, and went to therapy and stuff, and really like got better as a person. About 6 months later, they got back together, and then they've been together ever since. So I think that really reflects well on his character, and that he's willing to change, own up to his mistakes. And so yeah, and also to have that re publicly publicly shown out again. I don't know the words there.
Yeah, for a lot of us, it was the first time we were exposed to
Yeah.
this
Hmm.
information, and I think given the rightful concern we have over domestic violence, it really did. I mean, it ended up with Berhalter being dismissed, right?
No, no, no. So what happened
Or
was
not being resigned.
re-signed. Yeah.
Okay, so he left the team. Berhalter was not the coach of the men's national team for a while, right? Because this happened
3 or 4 months.
yeah, 3 or 4 months. Okay.
So since the World Cup. So how long
Yeah.
ago was December?
Yeah, I mean it's about 7 months now.
Jeez,
Yeah,
Louise. Yeah, 7 months.
six,
So
seven
yeah,
months. Yeah. Um, and so then we start a new search for the next coach of the U.S. men's national team.
a lot of big names thrown around. Thierry Henry,
I mean
Jesse
Jesse Marsh,
Marsh.
Patrick
Yeah.
Vieira,
Some big guys thrown around. Yeah.
and the decision is made to bring back Berhalter.
Hmm. I think it's an interesting decision. I don't know if it's a
Okay,
good decision.
so why did the U.S. men's national team make the decision to do that?
That's a good question. I guess tactical
Have
familiarity.
they okay? So have they come out with a okay?
Hmm.
So let's start with you. So you're Matt Crocker.
Hmm.
Why would you hire? Let's go to the reasons. Why would you hire Greg Berhalter again?
I think he's worked with this group for a long time,
4 years,
4 years. Yeah. He's developed quite a few younger talents like Pulisic.
How much of him? Let's pause for a minute. How much of him of his development is Berhalter, and how much of it is
I think it's mostly the clubs.
Thomas Tuchel? Right? I mean,
Yeah,
how much of it
it's
is
it's
Chelsea?
it's
Okay.
mostly the club, but still he's created an environment, at least in the training camp and on the men's national team field, where you know young players are can grow,
Okay.
and that's what it felt like. Really, that's what it really felt like. That he was giving chances to some of the youth players. He was letting them
Yeah, I
grow
mean,
and make
some of the
mistakes.
familiar faces didn't come back. I mean, because I think there's still some guys that played in the last cycle that were fit enough to at least play a role, but really you only had the guy who scored a header for us, the
John
defensive.
Brooks.
Thank you. Yeah, so you had Brooks, but they didn't bring back. I mean, Bradley's still active,
Hmm.
Beckerman's still active.
No, he's not. He retired.
Beckerman did okay. Never mind that. But there were a couple other bigger, more recognizable folks that didn't get a call up.
Hmm.
So we really went in without a lot of veteran presence.
Hmm.
Right.
So yeah, and I mean that's good and bad.
Yeah.
There's always
Plus and minuses to everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, think I don't think he did a very good job with the squad. I think you need to find a bit more balance in the squad. But I think
What do you
yeah.
mean? What do you mean? What?
Well, I mean like balance like in terms of age, because there was a
I
huge age
see.
gap.
I
Yeah.
see. Okay. So just
Um,
got it. Okay.
and so yeah, Other than that, I think he did well. I mean, he navigated us out of a group with England, Wales, Ireland, or Iran.
Iran.
Yeah,
Yep.
Iran. And I mean, none of those teams are easy on their day. I mean, let's see, Wales has Gareth Bale, Dominic Solanke.
It has an older Gareth Bale though.
He has an older Gareth Bale, but he always shows out for the national team. So Dominic Solanke's good, huge guy.
Iran.
Yeah, Iran Sardar Azmoun, really really great.
See what I mean about him knowing a lot about soccer? I
Yeah,
mean, yeah.
Mehdi Taremi is good. Let's see. In England has everyone. Pickford, Stones, Maguire when he's in England
Jack
form.
Grealish.
Jack Grealish, of course. Yeah, Raheem Sterling. Harry Kane. Like really, really, really big names, and he was able
Phil
to.
Foden.
Yeah, Phil Foden. Yeah, who's a dad somehow.
Saka.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Saka, and I mean,
Yeah.
he has like great talents on his hands, and he was able to like get a draw with them, and that's
Yep.
really impressive. Uh, One against Iran, tied to Wales. Wasn't his fault though. That draw to Wales.
Because of what you said. Because of Zimmerman's.
Zimmerman made a bad decision. Whatever it happens, not the manager's fault. Because Zimmerman, he's been very, very sound for a long time.
Right.
And, his club form's really good at National SC. So definitely one of the best center backs in MLS right now. So, you go in there and, he did enough to get out of the group. And I think, if he didn't get out of the group, I think he has to go immediately. And then we go to Netherlands. And, well,
We scored.
we scored.
Yeah. What was the final score of that game?
It was like 2-1, I think.
Yeah.
2-1. I mean,
all right. So that's a recap of how he did. So let's assume that the Giovanni Reina issue doesn't happen. So if there's no controversy, does Gregg Berhalter get brought back for another World Cup cycle?
I think so, yeah.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, based on the fact he got rehired.
Mm-hmm.
But you would not have made that decision.
I think there's better managers out there. I think, Greg Berhalter, he's done well, but I think, if you can go out and try to get someone like Jesse Marsch, who's had Premier League experience, kept Leeds up last year, which is good. It wasn't easy to do. And I mean, he's worked with a lot of these players at club level. I don't see why you don't go for Jesse Marsch right now.
Or what Vieira?
I mean, Vieira is, I don't know. I kind of like an American to be the American head coach.
I'm good with that. So, but there was also some, I think, baseless rumors floating around that we were in on Jurgen Klopp from Liverpool, Jose Mourinho from whichever Milan he's at. I was
Roma.
See, this is what, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't think that any of that, like, there were some big names being thrown out. I think a lot of that had to have been wishful thinking, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it had to. I don't think.
I mean, because I heard Pep Guardiola. There's no way he's leaving Man City to come. As much as I love my country, he's probably going to stay at Man City for a few more championships. Yeah. So you and I are in agreement that Marsh was probably where we wanted them to go.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we both unhappy with Berhalter? Let's leave the Giovanni Reina kerfluffle aside, because that presents its own problems and an own set of priorities, of non-soccer related priorities, that Berhalter is going to have to take care of that another manager wouldn't. So why else do we not like Berhalter? Or is the rain incident the big?
I think the Rena incident is certainly something that isn't contributing well to his higher ability.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
It does.
And he just doesn't play that good of a brand of football.
I agree.
And I mean, like, it's.
But do the numbers bear that out? Because you did some research into this.
Mm-hmm, I did, and he has, over his career, he has a 1.57 win or points per game, which is horrible. It's not good at all.
Okay, so 1.157.
1.57.
Okay, so basically he wins every other. He gets 3 points every other game.
More or less, yeah.
Okay.
For the U.S. men's national team, though, he does have a 2.69, which is good, which is really, really good. But we have to take into effect that some of those games are against Guadalupe.
Guatemala? No, Guadalupe.
Yeah,
Really?
it's like a tiny island nation, right?
Okay.
And Saint Martin, teams like that are tiny. You know,
So there's some bottom feeders in CONCACAF that he's. So how's he doing against Mexico? How's he doing against Canada?
well, we've been on a win streak against Mexico. We've
Which
been on a win streak against Canada.
is that about us or is that? Well, we finished third behind those three like last time in World Cup qualifiers, right?
Mm-hmm. And I mean, we kind of almost barely qualified for this World
I
Cup.
agree. I agree.
Jamaica was hot on our tail.
Yep.
And with some of the talents they could be bringing in, Mason Greenwood,
The dude from Villa. Um,
Leon Bailey,
yeah,
sure.
thank you. Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, they have really solid team. So, I think right now, Gregg Berhalter, this is the main reason I don't want to hire him. Gregg Berhalter plays an old and outdated style of football. We need someone, what? Yeah. We need someone who can think positively
Yep.
and has a more like attacking mindset.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So because Berhalter is a defensive genius,
Mm-hmm.
because we average zero point 0.8 goals conceded, and I think a goal. I had crap. Was it 1.5 goals conceded or 1.15? I don't know. It was we were scored. So he plays strong defense, and that's characteristically what he's been. But you don't think that's right for the national stage?
I don't think so and especially not in Concacaf
Okay,
because
because we're the bull. We should be the bullies.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean when you're going against Cuba, Cuba can get lucky. Cuba can get lucky on the defense. If you're playing negatively and you're playing defensively, Cuba can get lucky. They have Onel Hernandez, good attacking talent. Plays for Norwich. I don't know if he still accepts the call ups. I don't know. I don't know if he's like Mariano Diaz and doesn't go for the Dominican Republic. But all of our CONCACAF bottom feeders are getting better. Trinidad and Tobago, Levar Garcia and Eli Garcia, very good players. Eli Garcia has a few years. He's going to develop.
You knew all of this, right? You knew all of these international players.
Let's see. Junior Firpo going to the Dominican Republic. That's scary. Edson Escuna down in Inter Miami. I mean, I think he could have the potential to go far if he gets a chance at Inter Miami. Only 17, already a few national team call-ups.
For which national team?
Dominican Republic.
So basically you're saying a lot of the teams that traditionally we were beating,
mm-hmm. They're getting better.
Okay.
And I mean, Haiti has a few good talents. Can't think of any of them off the top
if
of my
I
head.
can editorialize, I mean, we brought in Balogun today.
Florian Balogun, yeah.
Balogun. He scored today, so we're still bringing in our own talent. But is there a fear that some talent's going to be alienated?
Yeah, I think.
Other than Reina.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, also, the national teams that we should bully are getting better. They're getting better attacking wise, right? And I mean, so they can get lucky. If we play defensively, they can get lucky. If we can't score, they can get lucky.
And traditionally, we have shown difficulty scoring.
Exactly. I mean, we lost 3-4-0 to Costa Rica. That's not good. Costa Rica do not have a good squad. Keylor Navas, really, really good. Who's that guy that Brown Forbes plays in China? He's decent. But I mean, come on, you don't have, there's no other real Costa Ricans that I'm terrified of, right? But we still lost to them. They got lucky. And here's the thing about young players, right? They will get demoralized. They'll get demotivated. You go down 2 goals, it's like, that's where we need the mentality in there. That's where we need the mentality.
Through the veteran presence.
Yeah, exactly.
And do you think Pulisic is in a position to do that now?
No, I don't think Pulisic's in a position to do that. I don't think
You're not the biggest Pulisic fan of the world.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, I know he has strong leadership in the squad.
Yep.
But I don't really see it. He's just not really a captain to me. I don't think he's ready for that
really
responsibility.
Okay.
I think give Weston McKennie a few years and sure, but I think Gregg Berhalter, I think he doesn't choose the right squads because we have plenty of veterans. Anthony Brooks is one of them. I mean, bring in Michael Bradley just for the experience. I mean, I know he's not great right now, having kind of a bad season at Toronto, but come on, you have to get some veterans in there. I mean, our starting 11, it's all very, very, very young talent. And I mean,
and they're good.
They're good.
But we don't always play cohesively.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so that's why I think we need an experienced manager. Jesse Marsh came through the Red Bull system, RB Salzburg, then to Leeds. Really, really good. Really, really good. And he's worked with these guys at club level.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, you bring him in. He knows them well. He already has Adams, McKinney, and Aaron's Aronson, my bad, to kind of help implement
The
the style he
system,
wants.
right.
Yeah, and
Which is a
those
more upbeat, more attacking style. Okay.
mm-hmm.
Yep.
And those three are in three key positions. Those are your three midfielders. So if you can get the midfield down, and like you can get like the midfield to where they need to be tactically, then the rest will fall into place.
Well, because then he's got a center back too from Leeds, right? Or I make that up. Okay.
I think you're thinking of Chris Richards,
Maybe. Okay.
Crystal Palace.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, even still, like I think Jesse Marsh was the perfect option. I'm not the biggest fan of him at club level, but I think he could have done good things in this United States men's team squad.
And it was good. And it was somebody we could have gotten. Like
exactly.
Yeah, he interviewed and then they turned him down
for whatever reason. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, ultimately, part of me thinks that this is it's almost like we felt it was unfair that Berhalter was treated the way he was, so we're giving him another opportunity to make good. We don't have to start over, so it's not a new system, not a new strategy that we're going forward with. And maybe there was some thought that that continuity was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still look at how we did last time. Three goals in 4 games is not it's not good enough. And his comments about we need to get better on set pieces. There's a guy on your bench named Giovanni Reina. Like why is he not in? So yeah, I mean I think it's going to be interesting. Like we can be football pundits and say that there's no way that we're ever going to do anything, and that's what's clickbaitable, right? I mean, we can do all that, but ultimately, I don't think we took a step forward with hiring Gregg Berhalter.
I think we took a step backward.
I don't know that we did. I mean, only insofar as if he's not going to be able to improve the team, everyone else gets better.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know that we're going to be worse, but we may be exactly the same, which will feel worse.
And also, if you can't patch things up with Reina,
well, right, and I think it's even worse with BJ Callahan sitting there. And he scored at the time of filming this 5 goals in the last 2 games.
Yeah, against 2 powerhouses of the CONCACAF community, and I mean,
with the almost exactly the same players that Berhalter had available to him. Now, the current Mexico squad's in turmoil, but Canada's playing really well.
Out of their skin, they have 2 world-class talents on their team.
Yeah,
and I mean, Milan Borjan. Really underrated keeper for Red Star. Shout out to Milan Borjan.
That's what I'm saying.
And they did have Hutchinson retire though, which is kind of a big loss for them. He's a really, really good player from Besiktas. But I think
you got Davies, right? Alphonso Davies.
He's a left back.
Right, but I mean, he's like if you got him, you got a chance to make some noise. Right?
Arguably one of the best left backs in the world right now.
Right.
And I mean, let's see, Jonathan David as well. Really, really good player. Such a goal scorer. Could actually go for the U.S. men's national team
but
too.
But chose to stay in Canada, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was born in New York, by the way.
I love international football. All right, so I mean, it's not what I'm hearing is that, yeah, nice. So what I'm hearing is that all hope isn't lost. Like Berhalter's got the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
If he retains Callahan, he's got an offensive mind. If he can patch things up, if Rain is willing to put the pass behind, and you have to figure, I can't help but wonder if there's not a split locker room. Like I know Pulisic and some guys have come out and said they're happy Berhalter's back, but I'm guessing there's probably some people that aren't happy with the way all of that went down.
Mm-hmm.
So but hope's not lost. We can get better. We've still got 3 years until the World Cup.
We're guaranteed to qualify for that.
We are guaranteed to qualify, but default's not a way to qualify. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But thanks for coming on the show. Anything else? Any closing arguments in this Berhalter conversation that you feel like we need to make?
Just got to patch things up with Gio, and I think we'll be good.
Yeah, I hope so. And by the way, U.S. men's national team, my son is available for consulting. Any point in time you need to know what's going on, give him a shout. Check out his channel. We'll post the links for that, and we will talk to you next time.
Sounds good.